G'day guys and welcome back to Ados the Great YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video, I'll be reviewing how I went in round 25 and then I'll be giving you my round 26 tips. Super excited to jump in and see how we went. Spoiler alert, not great, but we will bounce back. I promise you that. We're going to end the year strong. And then I'll be giving you my round 26 tips. Now before we get into this one guys, if you could leave a like and subscribe, it'd mean the absolute world to me. Without you guys, I'd be nothing. So thank you so much for your ongoing support. And it takes 2 seconds to slap that like button and hit that sub button. It'd mean the absolute world to me. Also, a bit of a shout out, Hock and Go. So they are a pawnbroker in both Logan and Helensvale. They have a website where you can buy products on their website and they will ship it to you Australia-wide. Incredible stuff. You can get jewelry, you can get laptops, computers, gaming, there's tools, there's so much on this website. Go and check it out. And if you do live in the Gold Coast and Logan areas, you can loan and sell to them as well. They're an incredible company, always trying to help the community. So I really do recommend them. All right, let's jump into this one. Also, that will be linked below their website. Let's get into it. So, to start things off, I backed in my Rabbitohs to beat the Dragons. I had high hopes for this game. I was very confident that we could get the job done. We did in a big way. We won 40-0. So we tick that one off. That is a tip right. Thank God we start off well. The next game I backed in Penrith to beat the Raiders. If Cleary kicks that field goal, we go 2 from 2. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. The Raiders then go to score one of the greatest match-winning tries I have ever seen. So we start off the week 1 from 2. We then go into Storm versus the Bulldogs. I backed in Storm to win this one. They did get the job done. I thought they would be a little bit more convincing. But to the Bulldogs' credit, they stuck strong in this one. Unfortunately, it is another loss against the top 4 side or a top 8 side. I think they have struggled against most of the top 8 sides for a good bit of the season. Like, obviously, they have won a few, but you know, those top 4 sides outside of the Raiders, they have struggled to beat this year. So, yeah, very... look, if I was a Bulldogs fan, I'd still be pretty confident. But I do think that they need to find some really good form coming into finals. I think these last 2 weeks, they really need to start to put the foot down. All right, next up, we got the Manly Seagulls against the Dolphins. Obviously, I backed in the Dolphins here. I thought they would be too good. They'd be in the top 8 too if it wasn't for this loss. Manly, way too good in this one. Winning this one 58-30. 88 points scored in a rugby league game is crazy, by the way. But, yeah, strong performance from Manly. They did it for DCE in his 350th game. And, yeah, Dolphins, disappointing. All right, the next one I did get right. That was the Warriors defeating the Titans 32-18. We get this tip right. Look, I thought the Warriors were fine, but the Titans, you know, they were pretty poor in this one. I thought the Warriors probably should have won this by a lot more. Yeah, credit to them. They get the job done. But if I'm a Warriors fan, I'm probably leaving this one a little bit disappointed. All right, the next one I got wrong. It was the Roosters against the Eels. I backed in the Roosters. I thought they would be too good there. Look, as a Rabbitohs fan, I'm glad they lost this because they have not locked in a spot in the top 8 yet, and that makes me very happy. But, yeah, Eels came out to play. Good on them. They were incredible, pardon me, in this one. Absolutely deserved to win it. They looked really good. So, credit to Parramatta for a strong win there. All right, next up, I backed in the Broncos to beat the Knights. This one was one of the easiest games to tip, in my honest opinion. Newcastle stood no chance in this game, and Reece Walsh was incredible. One of the best performances I think I've seen from Walshy in quite a long time. He was good last week as well, but this was incredible. He was on fire in this game, so credit to him. Really, really strong performance. And then to wrap up the weekend, I backed in the Tigers to beat the Cowboys. Tigers still had finals, still had a sniff at finals, but they couldn't get it done. It was disappointing for them. I was hoping the Tigers would get it done because this last month they've actually been playing some pretty decent footy, and I didn't expect the Cowboys to come out and play the way they did. But to their credit, they came out and they took over in that second half and got the job done. So credit to the North Queensland Cowboys. All right, round 26. Here we go. To kick things off, we've got the Bulldogs taking on the Panthers. This will be a cracking game. Panthers have won all 3 of their last 3 games played. And out of the 47 games played, Panthers have won 28, Doggies have won 18, and there has been 1 draw. Now, a few things to look at in this game. Obviously, the Bulldogs lose to Storm. They'd be deflated about that. But the Panthers have now played 2 golden point games. That has to take it out of Penrith. Look, I don't want to lock in the Bulldogs as a win here, but I'm going to tip the upset. I just think the Panthers are going to be absolutely drained from those 2 games. It's a quick turnaround here to play on the Thursday night. I think the Panthers are going to struggle. I really, really do. I'm going to back in the Dogs. I'm going to say a 1-12 margin, and I'm going to say Jacob Kiraz scores anytime. But look, this definitely could go the complete opposite way, and Panthers could put 40 on them. But I just can't see it happening. I genuinely believe the Bulldogs win this one. I think they get it done in a very, very close game. But with 2 golden point games, I just think Penrith will be absolutely gassed. I don't see them winning that one. Next up, we've got the Warriors taking on the Parramatta Eels over in New Zealand. The Eels have actually won 2 of the last 3 games played against the Warriors, and they've got a better head-to-head result against the Warriors, winning 26 of the 43 games played. So, realistically, again, this game is another one that I do feel could go either way. If the Eels play like they did against the Roosters, which, let's just be honest, Roosters were appalling last week. I think they made like 21 errors, which is just unseen in the NRL. Like, it's unheard of. That is crazy. So, it could have just been the Roosters were off their game and Parramatta were okay. But I do think the Eels can give the Warriors a bit of a fight here. In saying that, I am going to back the Wars. I'm going to tip them 1-12. I'm going to go Roger Tuivasa-Sheck anytime. I think he's going to end the season with a try-scoring run, and I don't see him missing out on a try in this one. All right, next up, we've got the second of the Friday night games. The Melbourne Storm taking on the Sydney Roosters. Storm have won 3 of their last 3 games against the Roosters. They've also won 33 of the 52 games played. Roosters struggle against the Storm. We know that. Especially in recent times. Look, there's no Harry Grant, which could hurt the Storm. In saying that, you've got players like Bronson Garlick that can come into the side and do a job for them as well. Or you move Jonah Pizzette into the halves and play Tyron Wishart in the 9. Like, they've got a lot of options they can go with there. Look, the Roosters will be without Sam Walker as well, which is an incredibly big loss. Sandon Smith will have to step up and play. But I think Storm win this one. I do think the Roosters can keep it relatively close. So I am going to say a 10-point margin. So it's still within that 1-12 sort of area. But I'm pretty confident the Storm get the job done. And Xavier Coates, anytime try scorer for me. All right, next up, we've got the Raiders taking on the West Tigers. The Raiders have won 2 of the last 3 games against the Tigers. And out of 45 games played, the Raiders have won 25 of them. Being in Canberra, I believe this is in Canberra, the Raiders should be too good here. I think now that the Tigers can't make finals, I do think that will deflate them a bit. I think the Raiders will be too good. I'm backing them in to win 13 plus, and I'm going to say Ko Week scores anytime in this one. He loves to find the troll line, and I would say he probably crosses in this one. Right, next up, we've got the Dragons taking on the Manly Sea Eagles. In their last 3 meetings, the Dragons have won 2 of the last 3. Dragons have won 24 of 37 games played against Manly. So Dragons, they they tend to come out and play well against the Sea Eagles. So we'll see what happens here. But the way Turbo played on the weekend was incredible. And I think he is going to try and get them into that top 8. He's going to give everything in these last few games. And I think Manly get up in this one. So 69% of people agree with me on that one. And Manly are technically the favourites. So I'm going to go Manly. I'm going to go 1-12. And I'm going to go Tom Trbojevic anytime try scorer. All right, next up, we've got the Cowboys taking on the Broncos. So this is going to be up in North Queensland. The Broncos have won 3 of their last 3 games against the Cowboys and have won 38 of 59 games. There has been 1 draw, though. So it's not really been that close recently. The Broncos have won quite convincingly of late. And you know what? I think that probably continues. I'm going to back in the Broncos. I'm going to say 13+. Reece Walsh is on fire at the moment. I think we're going to see a massive game once again from Walshy. No Renault, no Benny Hunt. I think Walsh stands up once again. He's going to be an anytime try scorer for me. And Broncos win 13+. All right, the Sunday games. We've got the Sharks taking on the Newcastle Knights. Newcastle are in all sorts at the moment. Sharks have won 2 of the last 3 games and 25 of 48 games won there for the Sharkies. Oh, actually, no, sorry, the Knights have won 25 games. Sharks have won 23. But realistically, the Sharks are going to be too good in this one. I think Sharks win by 13+. There's not really too much else to talk about there. And I think Ronaldo Mulatalo and Sione Katoa both get doubles. That's my big prediction of the weekend is both Sharks ringers score doubles. All right, to wrap up the weekend, we've got the Dolphins taking on the Titans. This should be, I think this is at KO Stadium. I don't think this one will be at Suncorp, but I was wrong about the Mudgee one. So let me just fact check this. If my phone wants to load, my apologies. I was wrong about Mudgee, so I want to fact check this one. This will be at Suncorp Stadium. Okay, so Suncorp Stadium will be playing host to this one. Dolphins have won. They won 2 of their last 3 games against the Titans. They've also won 4 of the 5 games played against the Titans. Look, this is a game that I could see being a bit of a danger game for the Dolphins. Especially the Titans, they're going to want to avoid that wooden spoon. And I think they're going to throw everything at the Dolphins. I am going to back in the Dolphins. And I'm going to say Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow scores anytime. But I'm only going to go a 1-12 margin. I think the Titans can keep it close. I think they will keep it close. And I think that is how the weekend will wrap up. So, my tips for round 26. Bulldogs to defeat the Panthers 1-12. Warriors to beat the Eels 1-12. Storm to beat the Roosters 1-12. Raiders 13+ over the Tigers. Manly 1-12 over the Dragons. Broncos and Sharks to win 13+. And Dolphins 1-12 over the Titans. Let me know who you're backing down below in the comments, guys. Once again, make sure you go down to the link in my description to check out Hock and Go. It's incredible. Such a good website. You can buy stuff all around Australia and it'll get posted to you. So do check that one out. And as always, my friends, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.